I said, "Listen, how hard can it be? Like, I have a degree in civil engineering. Like, it can't be that hard."
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I applied for the job, did an interview, and on interview I was very honest. So, you know how to roast? I said, not really, but I'll figure it out. It can't be that hard. Got the job.
Just insulted the whole industry there.
But that's how I got the job. And then all of a sudden I was being trained how to use the machine, which was like maybe a weekend. And the next weekend I was scheduled to do it myself.
Whoa.
I'm like, all right. But there was no Cropster. There was no data logging. There was nothing. And it was such a small amount, right? That it was, very, very low risk. But for me, it was an eye opener. Like, okay, there has to be some data logging. There has to be something. So I did it manually, everything. I drew the roasting curves before knowing that Cropster exists.
Did you?
Yeah, so I was drawing my own curves because I didn't know, right?
And that was before the roast or during the roast? You had a graph?
There was there was like an analog temperature inlet,
Yeah.
outlet exhaust. So I was kind of like measuring and like writing, okay, the 15 seconds, like 160 every 15 seconds, like I was taking measurements. So I drew my own curve before knowing the Cropster exists.
Awesome.
I didn't know anything about it for rappers, but that's how I got into it.
Okay. And do you think your engineering background kind of helped you visualize those things, or has the process around?
And this was that, collecting data, and I was like, okay, this is something that I'm very, very interested in. And then from Biolis, my Biolis closed. I moved to work for the catering and spent some time there doing coffee for a big caterer in Dublin. And then I worked in Google as well prior to that a year.
I think that's roughly when we first met, was it? Or, yeah. So I remember you were working for the catering company.
And that's, and it was, it just opened the market. Okay, geez, like, everyone knows what specialty is in Ireland for me. So people know specialty coffee. And then during that time when I was, let's call it a head of coffee or something, my role with Compass, I met Steven. Steven was, one of the suppliers, and we kind of talked often. And one day he said, would you ever consider, working with me? And that's where it stayed. We didn't open that subject for a good while. And then I think I called him and I said, yeah, it was me. It was me, actually. I called him in the morning. I said, how are you doing? Like, listen, I'm in, like, And he said, you're in? I said, yeah, I'm in. Like, let's do something.
Easiest interview you've ever done.
Yeah. And just crazy. So my first day in Berlin, my job was a trainer. So I had to go to Mullingar. And I almost missed my train because I overslept.
Oh, no.
It was crazy. Yeah. Anyways, joined the
Start. We'll go back to contract catering first, because that's a whole world in itself. And how long were you in contract catering?
maybe 2 years.
So you moved from Bewley's to contract catering as head of coffee. What did you think of contract catering? What did your job entail?
Okay, so first I started as a barista, and then they moved me to gave me 7 clients. It was Bank of Ireland for 8 Bank of Ireland units, just to look after them, improve the quality of coffee. So it was 8 sites, and then 5 different roasters. We had Tropic, Java Republic, Lavazza, Berlin, and I think that was it. I think that was the roaster that we had.
You had great exposure to different roasters.
Great exposure to a massive customer market, customer base, and then I quickly realized that actually quality is key. My job was improve the quality, but improving the quality, you can read it, improve the sales, and the sales improved by just focusing on quality. So we had one site that we did. I took over. We were doing like 130 coffees a day. Now the staff was not trained because there was no training there. It is what it is.
The equipment was a lot worse, we'll say, than it is today.
Kip was not
less forgiving.
Yeah, less forgiving, was not looked after. We said, okay, the budget is not there, so let's just see what we can do. So we focused on quality. It was unbelievable. We had sites from that were doing like 130 coffees a day, jumped to 450.
That's something to relate.
It was unbelievable. So for me, it was, okay, people in Ireland, they do know quality. They know what's good, and they're happy to,
And the 8 sites, so what I found in contract catering, you had 8 Bank of Irelands. 2 Bank of Irelands could be completely different because you have a different demographic of people working in there. So while you're saying, obviously, it's all about quality, did you get any pushback in terms of roast profiles, or like, while it could be good quality, it just could may not be the product that they're looking for.
Sure. Yeah. So we did have a pushback, but we did things a bit differently. So we did something called coffee democracy.
I remember that.
Remember? Yes, because you did it.
Yeah, yeah.
So it will be every roaster would get a day. They would serve their own coffee, and then the customer base would vote which roaster that they want on site, and that was